chapter 14. We're very close to finishing the book. This is the second last chapter. In chapter 13, Abbas went to the consulate, spoke to the person who was in charge, and was told he had to wait 6 weeks. The guy who runs it really likes Abbas, so Abbas is feeling good. He gets back to the hotel, speaks to Murat, and then leaves to get food. Remember, it's nighttime. As he is leaving, someone grabs him by the neck, by the head, and puts him against the wall, punches him, puts a knife against him, and asks him for his money. He only had a little bit of money, which annoyed this man. And this man was smelling of alcohol and punched him again, throwing Abbas to the floor. Luckily, Murat comes by on his way back from buying cigarettes and tells the guy to run. Abbas goes to bed that night feeling terrible. He does not leave his room for 3 days. Chapter 14, page 220. It was early morning. I edged my way past the curtains and opened the window for the first time since I had arrived. With a creak, it let in a fresh, cold, chill breeze. I sat on the edge of my bed and watched the sun make its way above the building across the road. I was dreading seeing Murat, not excited. I felt humiliated and embarrassed, though he had been an angel. Remember, Murat was really nice to him afterwards. I went downstairs and walked into the deserted lobby, which means it was empty, to find him in a deep sleep at his desk. I got myself a glass of tea and went into the television lounge. There was a lot of empty glasses and ashtrays from the previous night. This was not really my job, but I set to work picking them up and cleaning them. I heard Murat walk in. "You know you won't get paid for any extra for that," he said jokingly. I smiled at him. "I know, but I needed something to do." "Why don't you write a letter home?" he asked. I was not sure that I could cope with writing home and not say anything about what had happened, but I nodded. "Good," Murat said. "Besides, I have a match for you today, and you better practice for backgammon." "So should he," I said, trying to make the atmosphere a little lighter and funnier. I began to walk back toward reception, then stopped to ask, "Are the paper and the envelopes?" "Where they always are," he confirmed. For a man who did not have children, he showed great patience with me. The more I got to know Murat, the more I realized what a good man he was. I returned to the lobby and stared at the paper for a long time without writing anything. Eventually, I began. "Dear Maman, I hope you are well. I am doing all right. It has been pretty boring since my consulate visit. I have watched a lot of television and slept a lot. It was so good to speak to you, though, Maman. I wish you could have been here with me. Maybe while I am killing time, before I go to the consulate again, you can sort out your papers and join me. I could show you how everything works here. I know before I left I never used to tell you how much I love you, but if I saw you again, I would not be embarrassed, even if my friends were there. So how is Mamanjune? Is she still up to her old tricks? Tell her I miss her too. Tell her now that I am 10, I am a real man. Well, I better go now. I hope you can come here soon. I love you. Your son, Abbas." Page 222. 222. I really wanted to write the truth, but I had promised myself that I would keep the attack a secret. As I put the letter away to be posted, people began to come downstairs one by one. Even though the hotel did not offer breakfast, many of the Persians needed tea first thing in the morning. I got to work, also advertising my shoe cleaning business by mentioning it with every glass of tea that I served. My head was still scabbing, but it was difficult to see beneath my hair. There was also the scar on my neck from the point of the knife. The most visible was the bruise on my face, though. Some people asked about it, and I told them that I got into a fight with the local boys. After the events of that tragic evening, I had decided that I would confine myself to the hotel even more than before, so staying inside a bit more. This, therefore, meant that I could no longer do the package runs for Hector. I decided to go to town now while it was morning. I really did not want to leave the hotel, but I had to. I had not eaten for 2 days, and my lira, the Turkish money, was gone towards the hotel bill. I had not made any money for 3 days either. I did not want any fuss, so I waited for Murat to leave the reception area for a moment, and then I was out the door. My heart was racing, and I was extra aware of everyone around me. In a state of paranoia, I walked quickly, briskly down the road, with my hands in my pockets, clutching and holding the $60 I had stashed there. I had 50 that I wanted to change, and a marked $10 note that I had to exchange with Hector. I reached the marketplace and headed straight for Hector's shop. He looked up from examining a piece of jewelry and saw me. Remember, this is the shop that he kind of runs, Hector. But as soon as he saw me, he was smiling, but as soon as he saw my face, he turned serious. "What happened to you, my friend?" "Nothing," I said. "It was nothing." "It obviously was," he said in a firm, serious voice. "Who did this to you?" I did not say anything. "Who did this to you, Abbas?" he asked more loudly. "I don't know." "Don't you protect anyone," he ordered me. "Whoever it was will regret this. I will take care of it, Abbas. Just tell me who did this to you." I don't know," I said softly. "I swear." "What happened?" I told him. Hector looked into my eyes. I had never seen him look like this before. I thought he was going to kill me, never mind that man. "What did he look like?" he asked. I can't really remember. It was dark and I was scared." "If you ever see this guy again, you come straight here and tell me, okay?" "Okay." There was a brief silence as we both got our breath back. "So, will you have a drink, Abbas?" he asked in a more relaxed tone. Page 224. "No, thank you," I said. "I just want to change my money. And, well, I wanted to swap my last marked $10 bill because I did not want to carry the packages anymore." "I see," he said. "Why?" "I just don't. And it has nothing to do with this," I said, pointing to my face. Remember, his face is all marked and cut. "Okay. Sorry. If that is what you want, then no problem." It was going a little better than I had imagined. "Thank you," I said as I handed him the $60. "But will you do me a favor?" "Sure," I said. "Will you take one more drop today?" Remember, he took the package. "And that will be the last one." I stared at him, wanting to refuse, but unable to bring myself to say it. Wasn't able to say it. "It's okay, Abbas, I understand," he said, then joked, "You better come back here and swap money, though." "I will." "Good, and if you see that guy again, you come straight here, and I will take care of everything for you." He counted out my money and then handed me a bundle of lira of Turkish notes and a new $10 note. Could you please swap the 10 too?" I asked. "Sure." He handed me all the money and I left. Excuse me. I made my way back to the hotel in deep thought about why Hector was so concerned for me, why he was so worried. I decided to keep walking to the corner shop. It felt very eerie going down the same path again, scary. I closed my eyes and walked quickly and briskly until I had gone past the spot of the attack. I reached the shop and began to pick up the usual things, like yogurt, butter, bread, when I noticed the shopkeeper looking at my face suspiciously, confused. He must have thought that I had been up to no good. I took my things up to my room and had a small meal. When I went back downstairs, Murat was dozing in the television lounge, sleeping, having a nap. I made him a glass of tea and left it in front of him, in case he woke up. I spent the rest of my day between the shoe cleaning box and the bar. It appeared that the guests had missed me. That cheered me up a little. It was nice to be appreciated, for people to want me, even by strangers. At around 8, there was a dip in business, so there wasn't many people, and I took a break in front of the television. Knight Rider had just started when Murat hurried into the lounge to say there was a call for me, a phone call. I rushed into the lobby and into my phone booth. I shut the door behind me and took a deep breath, 2 deep breaths. "Hello?" "Abbas, my darling," my mother's voice echoed. "Maman!" I screamed. "How are you?" I'm good, sweetness, she said. And how are you? I'm okay. No, I'm good, I forced out, page 226. What are you doing? She asked gently. Watching TV, I said more cheerfully. Knight Rider is on. It's a great show. Where is Baba? Not in at the moment, she said softly. Are you really fine? Yes. Why? I don't know, she said. It's just something. I understood that she felt something was wrong, but luckily she did not know exactly what. No, I'm fine, Maman, I promise. It was very difficult for me to lie to my mother. Have you got any more letters? I asked, trying to change the subject. Yes, my darling, she said. I love them. I read them all the time. I smiled to myself, thinking of how many times I had read her letter to me. Maman, you had better go, I told her. Your bill is going to be huge. My guess was that my father knew nothing of that call, and it had not been planned. With a smile, I returned to Knight Rider and actually managed to forget everything for the remainder of the show. For the rest of the evening, I served drinks and mingled and talked to the guests. That night, I went to bed feeling tired, hoping for a good night's sleep. During the next 5.5 weeks, I left the hotel only 3 times a week and only in the mornings for food. I went to the marketplace twice and I exchanged more money at a time now, so that I would not have to come back so frequently, so often. Hector was still giving me good rates, and he never mentioned the packages again. I made myself a prisoner in the hotel, keeping myself busy with my jobs. The backgammon games were not so popular anymore, but they did take place once in a while. The phone calls from my parents were getting less frequent and shorter. It was obvious that my parents were not doing very well with money. The day of my next consulate meeting was inched closer, but a lot slower than I had anticipated, I had thought. I had thought that if I kept myself busy, time would move faster. But no matter what I did, every second felt like an hour. I was continually looking at the date and wishing that the day would arrive. So the end of chapter 14, there's one more chapter left. How crazy is that? And so in this chapter, he goes back to Hector to change more money. He's clearly very scared about being outside, about walking around when he shouldn't be. And he finally again speaks to his mother, and 5 weeks pass. So it's almost at the time where he's going to know if he can get the visa to escape to England. That's the end of chapter 14.